Welcome to Sleepy Holidays, a channel where cultural traditions transform into gentle bedtime stories. Each episode invites you to drift into the warm embrace of history and heritage, where ancient celebrations come alive through whispered tales. If you find comfort in these stories, remember to like and subscribe, helping us bring more peaceful journeys through time and tradition to your restful evenings. Now, settle in, as we begin tonight's gentle exploration. Tonight, we unveil the hidden origins of Christmas rituals, those curious customs that have traveled through centuries, from ancient winter fires to modern holiday magic. We will discover how pagan celebrations became cherished traditions, how solstice ceremonies transformed into Christmas customs. This is a revealing journey into the real backstory of the world's most beloved and sometimes strangest holiday practices, past and present. Let the story unfold. Chapter 1. The Candlelit Beginnings. In a time before electric lights painted our winter nights, when darkness ruled the longest days of the year, our ancestors gathered around flickering flames, seeking warmth and hope. The winter solstice marked the Earth's deepest sleep, when the sun seemed to abandon the world. Yet from this darkness, the most luminous celebrations were born, lighting the path to our modern Christmas. Picture the ancient world in December, when civilizations across the globe faced the same celestial challenge. The sun grew weaker each day, shadows stretched longer, and cold settled into bones like an unwelcome guest. Yet rather than surrender to despair, our ancestors created festivals of light and warmth. These celebrations would echo through millennia, eventually becoming the foundation stones of Christmas as we know it today. In Rome, the streets filled with unusual sights during late December. Slaves dined at their masters' tables, roles reversed in gleeful chaos. Children received gifts, and homes blazed with candles. This was Saturnalia, a week-long celebration honoring the god Saturn, when social order flipped upside down and joy ruled over duty. The echoes of Roman laughter would resonate through centuries, finding new life in Christmas traditions. The Romans understood something profound about winter celebrations. They recognized that darkness required deliberate acts of light, that cold demanded warmth, that scarcity called for abundance. During Saturnalia, homes transformed into beacons of hospitality, feasting replaced fasting, merriment conquered melancholy. These ancient Romans unknowingly crafted the template for Christmas generosity. Their winter rebellion against nature's harsh decree would inspire generations of holiday makers. Far to the north, where winter's grip held even tighter, Germanic and Norse peoples celebrated Yule, a festival that lasted 12 nights, from the winter solstice through the new year. They burned massive logs in their hearths, the Yule log, which would smolder for days, providing continuous warmth and light. These northern celebrations embraced the darkness, finding beauty in winter's stark majesty, while creating traditions that still warm our modern holidays. The Yule celebrations revealed something magical about human nature. When faced with the year's longest nights, these northern peoples chose to extend their celebrations, rather than hurry past the darkness. They decorated their homes with evergreen boughs, symbols of life persisting through winter's trial. Holly, ivy, and mistletoe brought the forest's eternal promise indoors. These simple acts of faith would travel south, eventually adorning Christian homes worldwide. Listen closely, and you can almost hear the ancient sounds, the crack and hiss of Yule logs settling in stone hearths, the gentle ring of sleigh bells cutting through crisp winter air, voices raised in songs that celebrated light's return. These northern winters created a soundtrack of hope, a seasonal symphony that would later harmonize with Christian hymns, creating the musical foundation of Christmas as we know it today. But change was stirring across the ancient world. As Christianity spread through Roman territories, early church leaders faced a delicate challenge: how to transform beloved pagan celebrations without destroying the joy they brought. The solution would prove to be one of history's most successful cultural blends, taking the warmth and light of winter festivals and weaving them into the nativity story, creating something entirely new yet deeply familiar. The early Christians were wise in their approach. Rather than condemn the celebrations that brought comfort during winter's darkest days, they embraced them, transformed them, gave them new meaning. The Roman gifts of Saturnalia became offerings to the Christ child. The Germanic evergreens became symbols of eternal life. The fires that once honored pagan gods now celebrated the light of the world, coming to earth in human form. This transformation wasn't immediate or simple. It took centuries for Christmas to emerge from this blending of traditions. In some places, the old and new celebrations coexisted, creating wonderfully complex holiday seasons. Families might attend Christmas Mass in the morning, then celebrate with Yule traditions in the evening. This layering of customs created the rich, multifaceted celebration we recognize today, where ancient and modern intertwine seamlessly. Imagine the first Christmas celebrations in converted Roman homes. Candlelight flickering on walls where pagan decorations once hung, now holly wreaths surrounded nativity scenes. Yule logs burned in hearths while Christian hymns filled the air. The generous feasting of Saturnalia continued, but now honored the birth of Christ. These early celebrations carried the DNA of winter festivals, while expressing entirely new spiritual meaning. The genius of this cultural transformation lay in its preservation of winter's essential magic, the need for light in darkness, the importance of community during harsh seasons, the power of gift-giving and feasting. These universal human responses to winter remained intact, while finding new purpose in Christian celebration. The result was a holiday that felt both familiar and revolutionary, ancient yet eternally fresh. As Christianity spread across Europe, each culture added its own winter traditions to the growing Christmas tapestry. Celtic Druids contributed their reverence for mistletoe. Scandinavian communities shared their elaborate feasts. Mediterranean peoples brought their gift-giving customs, like snowflakes joining a drift. These traditions accumulated, creating the complex, beautiful celebration we inherit today, each custom carrying whispers of its ancient origins. And so, from the candle-lit beginnings of winter celebrations, Christmas was born, not from a single moment, but from centuries of human longing for light, warmth, and connection. During the year's darkest season, the Roman slaves dining with masters, the Germanic families burning Yule logs, the Christian congregations singing by candlelight, all contributed threads to this magnificent tapestry. Now, let us explore where these threads led. Chapter 2. Fireside Tales. The Yule log. The fire crackles before us, casting dancing shadows across ancient stone walls. Tonight we gather close to warmth that has sustained humanity through countless winters. Here beside these glowing embers, we discover the sacred story of the Yule log, a tradition that bridges pagan reverence with modern celebration, connecting us to ancestors who understood fire's power to banish darkness and summon hope. Long before Christmas trees adorned parlors, our European ancestors honored the winter solstice with burning logs. These weren't ordinary pieces of wood, but carefully chosen symbols of renewal. Celtic Druids, Germanic tribes, Scandinavian communities, all understood that the longest night demanded the brightest flame. The Yule log ceremony marked humanity's defiant response to winter's grip, a ritual promise that light would return to the world. The selection of the Yule log was sacred work, performed with reverence and intention. Families ventured into winter forests, seeking the perfect specimen: oak for strength and endurance, ash for protection, pine for purification. Each tree species carried its own blessing. The chosen log must be large enough to burn through the 12 nights of Christmas, its flames a bridge between the dying year and the birth of new possibilities. Ancient rituals surrounded the log's preparation, hands working together in blessed ceremony. Some carved protective symbols into the bark, others whispered prayers for prosperity and health. The log was anointed with wine or ale, blessed with evergreen boughs, decorated with ribbons of red and gold. Every touch carried intention, every blessing a shield against the darkness, every preparation a step toward renewal and rebirth. The lighting ceremony required fire from the previous year's log, carefully preserved in sacred ashes. This continuity linked generations, each flame carrying forward the blessings of those who came before. The head of the household would kindle the new log, while family members gathered in reverent circle. Sparks rose like prayers, smoke carried wishes, skyward, and warmth spread through grateful hearts like benediction. As the Yule log caught flame, its light transformed the humble hearth into sacred space. Shadows retreated to distant corners, cold surrendered to embracing warmth, and fear dissolved in the comfort of community. Children pressed closer, their faces glowing in firelight, while elders shared stories of winters past. The burning log became the heart of home, pulsing with life, radiating protection and peace throughout the dwelling. The log must burn continuously through the 12 sacred nights, tended with devotion and care. Family members took turns feeding the flame, adding kindling, adjusting the embers, ensuring the fire never died. Each night brought its own rituals, prayers for different blessings, toasts to various hopes, songs of gratitude and joy. The persistent flame became a beacon, calling prosperity, health, and happiness into the coming year. The sense of the burning Yule log filled every corner of the home, pine resin releasing memories of forest depths, oak smoke carrying earth's ancient wisdom, ash wood sharing protective blessing. These fragrances became the perfume of Christmas, mingling with baking bread, mulled wine, and evergreen boughs. Each breath carried comfort, each inhalation a reminder of safety, each exhalation a release of winter's worries. Heat radiated from the burning log like love made manifest, warming not just bodies but spirits. Frozen fingers thawed beside the flames, chilled hearts melted in the glow, and winter-weary souls found renewal in the light. The fire's warmth became a gathering force, drawing family closer, encouraging conversation, inspiring laughter, and creating the intimacy that transforms a house into a home, a shelter into a sanctuary. The light of the Yule log painted everything in golden hues, transforming ordinary moments into magical memories. Faces became luminous, voices grew softer, movements turned gentle and deliberate. Time seemed to slow beside the burning log, allowing space for reflection, for gratitude, for the quiet appreciation of simple blessings. In this sacred glow, families rediscovered each other, hearts opened, and love grew stronger with each passing hour. As centuries passed, the Yule log tradition evolved into sweeter forms. French bakers created the bûche de Noël, a rolled cake resembling a woodland log, decorated with meringue mushrooms and chocolate bark. This culinary transformation preserved the tradition's spirit, while adapting to urban life where grand hearths had vanished. The edible Yule log became a centerpiece, bringing families together around dining tables, sharing sweetness, creating new memories while honoring ancient roots. Modern kitchens became sites of new Yule log ceremonies, mixing bowls replacing ancient altars, measuring spoons taking the place of ritual implements. Generations worked side by side, grandmothers sharing secrets, mothers guiding eager hands, children learning traditions through flour-dusted fingers. The act of creating, of baking, of decorating became its own form of reverence, each Yule log cake of edible prayer, a sweet offering to family bonds. Around the flickering flames, stories flowed like ancient rivers, carrying wisdom from generation to generation. Elders shared tales of Christmases past, their voices soft with memory, their eyes bright with reflected firelight. Children listened with wide-eyed wonder, absorbing family history, learning their place in the long chain of love and tradition. Each story became a gift, each memory a treasure, each shared moment a thread in the tapestry of belonging. The firelight revealed faces softened by contentment, hands warmed by mutual care, hearts opened by shared vulnerability. In these quiet moments beside the burning log, pretenses fell away, masks were set aside, and authentic connection flourished. Laughter bubbled up naturally, tears of joy were shed freely, and love expressed itself in gentle touches, understanding glances, and comfortable silences that spoke louder than words ever could. As the Yule log burned lower, its final flames whispered promises of renewal, of light returning, of hope reborn. The dying embers held tomorrow's potential, their glowing hearts containing seeds of new beginnings. Family members gathered the blessed ashes, saving them for next year's ceremony, preserving the sacred flame, maintaining the unbroken chain that connects past to future, earth to sky, heart to heart. The Yule log tradition teaches us that some rituals transcend time, adapting their forms while preserving their essence. Whether burning in ancient hearths or sweetening modern tables, whether tended by Celtic druids or contemporary families, the log's message remains constant. Light conquers darkness, warmth defeats cold, and love transforms everything it touches. Now we carry this warmth forward, letting it guide us to our next sacred tradition. Chapter 3. Tinsel-lit glimpses. Germany's Christmas markets, the first whispers of winter, carry something magical across cobblestone squares. The gentle hum of voices mingles with the soft clinking of ceramic mugs. Here, in the heart of German towns, centuries-old traditions unfold beneath twinkling lights. Steam rises from wooden stalls, carrying the warm scent of cinnamon and cloves, inviting us deeper into this enchanted world. Listen closely. Can you hear the gentle shuffle of boots across ancient stones? The rustle of woolen coats brushing against wooden counters. These markets began in the 14th century, born from simple necessity, growing into something far more precious. Merchants once gathered to sell winter provisions, but somewhere along the way, These gatherings became sanctuaries of warmth, beacons of light in winter's darkness. The air itself tells stories here, thick with the perfume of roasted almonds, sweet Lebkuchen, and that distinctive aroma of glühwein simmering in copper pots. Each breath draws you deeper into this sensory embrace, where time moves like honey, slow and golden. Vendors call out softly in regional dialects, their voices carrying the musical cadence of Bavaria, the gentle rhythm of the Rhineland, each accent a doorway to local tradition. Guten Tag, whisper the stall-keepers, their weathered hands crafting wooden toys with patient precision. Watch their fingers dance across carved nutcrackers, each movement a meditation passed down through generations. The wood shavings curl and fall, creating tiny spirals that catch the lamplight, while somewhere nearby, a music box plays a gentle waltz, its melody weaving through the evening air like a lullaby for grown souls. In Nuremberg, the Christkindlmarkt spreads like a fairy tale across the Hauptmarkt square, 2 million visitors each year drawn to its golden glow. But tonight, we drift past the crowds, focusing instead on the quieter moments, the pause between conversations, the gentle steam rising from a cup of Kinderpunch, the soft crackle of chestnuts roasting over glowing coals, time suspended in amber light. Each stall whispers its own story, handmade ornaments catching candlelight like captured stars, glass baubles reflecting 1,000 tiny flames. The artisans work with quiet concentration, painting delicate patterns on ceramic mugs, carving intricate designs into wooden angels, their craft a form of prayer, each piece holding the maker's breath, the winter's magic, the season's gentle promise of renewal and wonder. Dresden calls to us now, through the mists of time, to where it all began. In 1434, the very first Striezelmarkt opened its doors, named for the sweet stolen bread that became its crown jewel. Picture those first merchants, arranging their wares by flickering torchlight, creating something that would endure for 6 centuries, a tradition that would survive wars, rebuilding, transformation, yet remain forever unchanged at its heart. The Stollen, oh the Stollen, dense with fruits and nuts, dusted with powdered sugar like fresh snow, each loaf a edible prayer for abundance. Watch the bakers, their movements rhythmic and sure, folding butter into dough with the patience of ages, creating bread that tastes of Christmas itself, of winter mornings and candlelit evenings, of traditions that connect us across time. Regional treasures emerge from every corner. Cologne offers its cathedral's shadow as backdrop, while Munich's Marienplatz echoes with alpine melodies. In the Black Forest markets, cuckoo clocks tick away peaceful moments, their gentle rhythm marking time in this suspended winter world, each region adding its own note to Germany's Christmas symphony, a harmony built over centuries of shared celebration. The Glühwein flows like liquid warmth, red wine infused with cinnamon, cloves, orange peel, each cup served in commemorative mugs that become treasured keepsakes. Feel the ceramic warm against cold fingers, taste the spices dancing on your tongue, breathe in the steam that carries stories of medieval kitchens, of recipes passed from mother to daughter, of comfort found in simple pleasures. Lebkuchen hearts hang like edible love letters, decorated with gentle words, Ich liebe dich, written in white icing across gingerbread brown. These sweet confessions have declared affection for centuries, soft cookies, carrying messages between lovers, friends, families, each bite a taste of tenderness, a whisper of devotion wrapped in honey and spice, tradition served with a smile. Children press close to puppet theatres, watching Punch and Judy dance their eternal story, while somewhere nearby, a carousel turns slowly, painted horses rising and falling in gentle rhythm, their motion hypnotic against the evening sky. The laughter mingles with Christmas carols, creating a symphony of joy that echoes off ancient buildings, warming hearts against winter's chill, connecting generations through wonder. As dusk deepens, the real magic awakens. Strings of lights begin their gentle glow, outlining every stall, every archway, every corner where beauty hides. The markets transform into galaxies of golden stars, each bulb a tiny sun warming the winter darkness, creating pathways of light that lead deeper into this enchanted realm, where time moves slowly and wonder waits around every corner. The Christkindlmarkt reveals its true face now, not just a market but a sanctuary, a place where the modern world grows quiet, where cell phones sleep in pockets, where conversations happen face to face, heart to heart. These markets preserve something precious, a way of being that refuses to be hurried, a reminder that the best gifts cannot be rushed, only savored. Handcrafted treasures line every table, wooden pyramids spinning slowly, their carved figures telling nativity stories in gentle motion. Glass ornaments catch the light like captured rainbows, while knitted scarves soft as clouds invite touch. Each item carries the maker's soul, the winter's blessing, the season's promise that beauty can be touched, held, taken home, remembered long after the markets close. The evening draws us onward, past the last glowing stall, beyond the final notes of Christmas carols. The markets will continue their ancient dance, welcoming new visitors, sharing old stories, keeping traditions alive through another winter. But we drift forward, carrying their warmth, their wonder, their gentle reminder that some magic never fades, only waits, patiently, for our return. Chapter 4. Glass Baubles, the Shimmering Tradition. In the rolling hills of Lauscher, Germany, where winter mist clings to cobblestone streets, a revolution in Christmas decoration was quietly taking shape. Here, in workshops warmed by glowing furnaces, artisans discovered they could capture light itself, trapping it within delicate spheres of glass. These weren't merely ornaments. They were tiny miracles, each one holding the promise of joy, waiting to transform ordinary evergreen branches into something magical. The year was 1847, and Hans Greiner stood before his glowing furnace, watching molten glass dance like liquid starlight. His workshop hummed with quiet concentration, the steady rhythm of breath and flame, the gentle tap of tools against cooling glass. Outside, snow fell softly on the village rooftops, but inside this sacred space, summer seemed eternal. The furnace cast golden shadows on weathered walls, where generations of glassblowers had learned their ancient craft, passing secrets from father to son. Hans gathered the molten glass on his blowpipe, feeling its weight, sensing its readiness. With practiced breath, he began to inflate the glowing orb, watching it expand like a miniature sun. The glass yielded to his gentle coaxing, growing round and perfect, translucent walls catching and holding the furnace light. His apprentices watched in silent reverence, learning not just technique, but the patience required to birth beauty from fire. Each breath had to be measured, each movement deliberate, creating something both fragile and eternal. The workshop filled with the whispered songs of creation, the soft hiss of cooling glass, the gentle clink of finished baubles settling into wooden crates. Hans rolled the heated sphere across his marver, smoothing imperfections, coaxing perfect roundness from the willing material. His hands moved with the confidence of decades, knowing exactly when to breathe, when to pause, when to let the glass rest. The bauble began to take its final form, ready to receive the colors that would make it sing with light. Silver nitrate flowed like liquid moonlight across the glass surface, creating that distinctive mirror finish that would capture and multiply candlelight in countless homes. Hans watched the coating settle, transforming clear glass into something that seemed to glow from within. The chemistry was simple, but the effect was pure magic. Each bauble became a tiny world, reflecting not just light, but the hopes and dreams of families who would one day hang it on their trees, creating memories that would last generations. Colors came next, delicate washes of crimson and gold, deep forest greens and celestial blues. Hans applied each hue with the precision of a painter, knowing that these ornaments would carry German craftsmanship into homes across the world. The glass accepted each color like a blessing, the pigments settling into patterns that seemed almost alive. Some baubles remained simple, elegant in their silvered simplicity, while others bloomed with painted flowers, birds, or intricate geometric designs that caught the eye and held it. The metal caps came last, carefully fitted to the delicate necks of the glass spheres. These small crowns would hold the hanging strings, the vital connection between ornament and tree. Hans examined each finished bauble, holding it up to the light, checking for flaws that might make it fragile. Only the perfect ones would make the journey, wrapped carefully in soft paper, nestled in wooden boxes that would carry them far from this quiet German village, to homes they would help transform into places of wonder. Word of these glittering treasures spread like whispers on the winter wind. European nobility began requesting these German baubles for their grand estates, where they hung like captured stars among the evergreen branches. The ornaments reflected the warm glow of countless candles, multiplying light throughout elegant parlors and grand halls. Each bauble told the story of Hans Greiner's workshop, carrying within its silvered walls the breath of its creator, the warmth of German hearths, the careful attention of hands that understood beauty. Ships carried these precious cargo across turbulent seas, boxes of dreams wrapped in straw and hope. Merchants understood they weren't just transporting ornaments, but possibilities for joy, ways to transform simple celebrations into something transcendent. The baubles survived storms and rough handling, their sturdy glass construction proving that beauty could also be resilient. In London parlours, Parisian salons, and eventually American homes, Hans Greiner's creations would hang like memories made visible, connecting families to traditions they were only beginning to understand. America embraced these shimmering ornaments with characteristic enthusiasm. Families who had never owned such beautiful things suddenly found their trees transformed, no longer simple evergreens, but magical displays that drew gasps of wonder from children and adults alike. The baubles caught the light of oil lamps and early electric bulbs, sending rainbows dancing across wallpapered walls. Each ornament became a focal point, a conversation starter, a bridge between the old-world traditions families had left behind and the new celebrations they were creating. Generations passed, these precious ornaments like heirlooms, each family creating their own stories around the delicate spheres. Grandmothers would lift favorite baubles with trembling hands, remembering the Christmas mornings when their own children first saw them glittering on the tree. Some ornaments survived, others fell victim to eager young hands or simple age, but the tradition remained strong. Each December brought the ritual of unpacking, the careful handling, the placement of each bauble in just the right spot where it would catch the light most perfectly. Children learned reverence through these fragile treasures, understanding that some things in life required gentle handling, careful attention, the kind of respect that beautiful things deserve. Parents watched as small fingers reached toward the glittering spheres, then gently guided those hands to safer ornaments, while the precious baubles hung just out of reach. The lesson was profound. Not everything beautiful belongs in your hands. Sometimes the greatest joy comes from simply observing, appreciating, allowing beauty to exist without possessing it completely. The tradition evolved but never lost its magic. Modern families still gather around their trees, still experience that moment of wonder when the baubles catch the light just right, creating patterns of brilliance that seem almost alive. The ornaments have changed, mass production replacing hand craftsmanship in many cases, but the essential magic remains. Light still dances within those silvered walls, still creates moments of breathless beauty, still connects us to Hans Greiner's workshop and the quiet revolution he began in that German village so long ago. Tonight, in a modest suburban home, a family prepares for their own bauble ceremony. The tree stands waiting, its branches reaching toward the ceiling like patient arms. Boxes of ornaments wait nearby, some new, some inherited, all carrying their own stories. The parents remember their own childhoods, the excitement of decoration night, the way anticipation built with each ornament placed. Soon their own children will experience this same wonder, connecting them to countless other families, all sharing in this beautiful tradition of light. The first bauble emerges from its tissue paper wrapping, a simple silver sphere that immediately begins to glow in the warm lamplight. Small hands reach eagerly, then pause as gentle voices remind them to be careful, to treat each ornament like the precious thing it is. The bauble finds its place on a sturdy branch, where it will spend the coming weeks reflecting the joy of this household, multiplying their light, adding its own quiet magic to their celebration, connecting this moment to all the moments that came before. As the last bauble finds its place, the family steps back to admire their work. The tree has been transformed, each glass sphere catching and reflecting the others, creating a symphony of light that fills the room with warmth. But this is only the beginning, for every tradition builds upon the others. Each ornament connects to larger stories, and as we'll discover in our next chapter, even the most familiar Christmas customs often hide surprising secrets, waiting to be revealed like gifts beneath the tree. Chapter 5. Radiant Celebration. The Festival of Lights, in the heart of winter's deepest embrace, when darkness stretches its longest fingers across the earth, there comes a celebration that defies the cold, a festival born from ancient courage, where tiny flames dance against enormous shadows. This is the story of Hanukkah, the Festival of Lights, where 8 nights of wonder transform the shortest days into the brightest memories. Let us journey back to where it all began. Ancient Jerusalem, more than 2,000 years ago, the air thick with tension and the scent of olive oil. Syrian Greek armies have desecrated the Holy Temple, forcing their gods upon the Jewish people. But in the shadows, a family of priests called the Maccabees gather. Judah the Brave leads his brothers in whispered planning. Their hearts burn with determination to reclaim what was stolen, to restore the light that was extinguished. This is where our story of miracles begins. The rebellion unfolds like autumn leaves in wind. Small bands of faithful warriors, moving through moonlit valleys and hidden caves. Their weapons few, their faith immense. Judah Maccabee's voice carries across campfires, rallying hearts that refuse to surrender. 3 years of struggle, 3 years of hope, until finally, the temple doors swing open once more. But what they discover inside will spark a miracle that still glows today. The sacred menorah stands empty, waiting. The temple restoration begins with trembling hands, dust swept from sacred spaces, broken stones carefully mended. But when they search for the pure olive oil, blessed by priests and sealed with sacred marks, they find only one small flask, enough for just 1 day. Yet the menorah must burn continuously. 8 days are needed to prepare new oil. Their hearts sink, until someone whispers, perhaps, just perhaps, they should light it anyway, and trust. The first flame flickers to life, casting dancing shadows on weathered walls. 1 day passes, the oil still burns. 2 days, 3 days, still the flame dances. By the 4th day, whispers of wonder fill the temple. By the 8th day, the impossible has become truth. The oil that should have lasted 1 day has burned for 8, a miracle witnessed, a promise kept. This sacred flame becomes the heartbeat of every Hanukkah celebration that follows. From that ancient miracle emerges the beautiful tradition we cherish today, the Hanukkah, 9 branches reaching toward heaven, 8 for the miracle nights, 1 for the shamash, the helper candle. Each evening as twilight settles, families gather. The shamash is lit first, then used to kindle 1 more flame, until all 8 glow together, each candle a memory, each flame a prayer, each night a celebration of light conquering darkness, of hope outlasting despair. The first candle speaks of courage, the bravery to stand against overwhelming odds. The second whispers of dedication, staying true when the world demands compromise. The third glows with perseverance, continuing the journey when the path grows dark. The fourth radiates with faith, believing in miracles when logic says no. Each flame carries its own sacred message. Each night deepens the meaning, as 8 becomes infinity, and winter's darkness bows to eternal light. As the candles burn, homes fill with warmth beyond the flames. The sharp sweetness of applesauce mingles with anticipation. Potatoes wait patiently, soon to become golden treasures. This is the hour of latkes, crispy potato pancakes that sizzle like tiny celebrations. Oil spatters and pops, the same olive oil that once burned in the temple, connecting every kitchen to that ancient miracle. Through the simple act of frying potatoes into joy, grandmother's hands work magic with simple ingredients: grated potatoes, minced onions, eggs that bind it all together. The mixture hits hot oil with a satisfying hiss. Crispy edges form like tiny golden lace. Children gather around kitchen counters, breathing in the aroma of tradition. Each lact carries stories of other kitchens, other grandmothers, other children who waited just like this, for the moment when patience becomes pure, delicious, satisfaction. The table becomes an altar of abundance, latkes piled high like golden coins, applesauce cool and sweet, sour cream dolloped like winter clouds. Steam rises carrying prayers of gratitude. Hands reach across generations, sharing food that tastes of memory, of survival, of celebration. Each bite connects the present to the past. Each meal becomes communion with ancestors who dreamed of nights exactly like this one, where their children's children would feast in freedom. After the feast comes the joy of giving. Small packages appear like magic, wrapped in whispers and anticipation. But first, the tradition that makes children's eyes sparkle. Gelt appears, chocolate coins wrapped in golden foil. Some real pennies too, warm from loving pockets. The custom born from ancient times, when coins were given to celebrate freedom, to remember that true wealth lies not in gold, but in the liberty to live and love and dream. The dreidel emerges from careful keeping, 4 sides spinning ancient stories. Nun, Gimel, Hey, Shin, Hebrew letters that spell, a great miracle happened there. Though tonight they whisper, a great miracle happened here, in this very room, where children learn through play that even games can carry sacred meaning. That joy itself becomes a form of prayer. That laughter lights candles no flame could ever match. The wooden top spins and tumbles. Gimblain means take all. Nun means take nothing. Hey means take half. Shin means add to the pot. But the real prize isn't chocolate coins or pennies. It's this moment, voices mingling in gentle competition, generations connected by a simple spinning toy. The dreidel wobbles, slows, falls, and in its falling, creates space for another miracle, another spin, another chance for wonder to take root. As the eighth night arrives, the Hanukkah blazes with full glory, 8 flames dancing together in perfect harmony, reflecting in windows, in children's eyes, in the depths of memory. The miracle is complete, but somehow it feels like a beginning. Each year the lights return, each winter the darkness retreats, each generation discovers that some flames, once lit, never truly go out, but live on, in hearts, in homes, in hope. The festival teaches what winter often forgets, that darkness is temporary, that small lights can illuminate vast spaces, that miracles begin when ordinary people do extraordinary things. The Maccabees could never have imagined how their one small flask of oil would become millions of candles, burning in windows across the world, carrying their courage into every generation that follows their flickering, faithful, eternal example as Hanukkah's glow fades into memory. Its light continues, in acts of kindness, in moments of courage, in the choice to hope when hope seems impossible. The Festival of Lights becomes the festival of the heart, where every day offers a chance to kindle something beautiful. And so we carry this radiance forward into the next celebration, where other traditions wait to share their own sacred fire with those who seek the light. Chapter 6. Austrian Shadows. Krampus Night. Deep in the alpine valleys of Austria, where winter wraps the mountains in velvet darkness, an ancient tradition stirs beneath the Christmas glow. Here, St. Nicholas does not walk alone through the snow-covered streets. His shadow companion waits in the folklore, a figure both feared and celebrated, the mysterious Krampus. Tonight we journey into this bittersweet tradition, where darkness dances gracefully with light, and ancient stories whisper softly through frosted alpine windows tonight. The Krampus legend emerged from pre-Christian alpine traditions, where winter spirits roamed the mountains long before churches dotted the valleys. This half-goat, half-demon creature became St. Nicholas's unlikely companion, carrying chains and bells that echoed through snowy streets. While the saint rewarded good children with treats and gifts, Krampus reminded the naughty ones of their misdeeds. Yet beneath the fearsome mask lies something gentler, a tradition wrapped in theatrical mischief rather than true malice. The performance begins each December. In Austrian villages, December 5th marks Krampusnacht, when the veil between seasons grows thin and ancient customs awaken. Young men don elaborate wooden masks carved with horns and fangs, their faces disappearing behind centuries of craftsmanship. Heavy fur cloaks drape their shoulders while cowbells and chains create a symphony of winter warnings. These modern Krampuses gather in town squares as twilight settles, preparing for their ritual dance through cobblestone streets. The transformation from neighbor to folklore figure begins with each careful adjustment of costume. The Krampus runs, or Krampuslauf, transform quiet Austrian towns into theatres of ancient drama. Dozens of costumed figures emerge from shadows, their bells creating haunting melodies that drift through narrow medieval streets. Children peer from windows while adults line the sidewalks, watching as tradition comes alive in playful terror. The creatures lumber past cafes and shops, occasionally pausing to playfully menace spectators with theatrical growls. Yet smiles hide beneath the masks, for this is community theatre at its most primal and joyful. Each Krampus mask tells a story carved in wood and painted with generations of tradition. Local artisans spend months creating these masterpieces, using techniques passed down through alpine families. Some masks sport twisted ram horns, while others feature elongated tongues and wild hair made from goat fur. The eyes, often bloodshot and glaring, seem to peer into ancient memories. These aren't mere costumes but cultural artifacts, each one representing hours of devotion to keeping folklore alive in an ever-modernizing world. The chains that Krampuses drag serve as both symbol and sound effect, creating the metallic rhythm that announces their approach through darkened streets. Some chains hang with bells, while others bear birch branches, traditional tools for the gentle swatting of mischievous children. The weight of these props adds authenticity to each performance, forcing the wearer to move with deliberate, creature-like motions. As they clank across cobblestones, the sound echoes off ancient buildings, creating an atmospheric soundtrack for this winter pageant. Krampusgrüße, or Krampus greeting cards, represent a uniquely Austrian twist on holiday correspondence. These vintage postcards feature the creature in various poses, sometimes chasing children, other times sharing scenes with St. Nicholas himself. The artistic style ranges from whimsical to genuinely unsettling, reflecting society's complex relationship with this folklore figure. Collectors treasure these cards today, appreciating how they capture a time when darkness and light danced more freely together in holiday celebrations. Each card whispers stories of winter's past. The ritual extends beyond Austria's borders, finding new life in Germany, Slovenia, and even across the ocean in American communities, celebrating their alpine heritage. Each region adds its own flavor to the tradition, some emphasizing the theatrical aspects while others focus on historical accuracy. Modern Krampus celebrations blend ancient customs with contemporary safety measures, ensuring that the playful scares remain just that, playful. The tradition adapts while maintaining its essential spirit, proving folklore's remarkable ability to evolve across cultures and centuries. Children in Krampus regions learn early that the creature's frightening appearance masks a benevolent purpose. Parents explain that Krampus serves as winter's reminder to be kind, to help neighbors, and to appreciate the warmth of family during cold months. The fear is temporary and theatrical, like a horror movie that ends with laughter. This cultural education helps young ones understand that even scary traditions can carry positive messages, teaching them to look beyond appearances and find deeper meaning in ancestral customs. The preparation for Krampus night begins months in advance, as communities organize routes, safety protocols, and costume competitions. Local taverns prepare traditional winter drinks, while bakeries craft special pastries shaped like horns and hooves. Musicians practice the folk songs that accompany the processions, their melodies mixing with the sound of bells and chains. This community effort transforms what could be a solitary, scary story into a shared celebration, where neighbors become performers and spectators become part of the ancient narrative unfolding. As the Krampus figures roam through villages, they carry birch switches called ruten, not as weapons but as symbols of winter's cleansing power. The gentle tapping of branches against willing participants represents the old year's troubles being swept away, making room for fresh starts and new beginnings. This ritualistic cleansing connects the tradition to broader themes of renewal and rebirth, transforming what appears frightening into something deeply hopeful. The switches become wands of transformation, changing fear into anticipation for better days ahead. Modern psychological understanding has embraced the Krampus tradition as a healthy way for communities to acknowledge life's darker aspects without being overwhelmed by them. By personifying winter's challenges and fears in costumed figures, people can confront anxiety in a safe, controlled environment. Children learn that scary things can be temporary visitors rather than permanent residents in their lives. This therapeutic aspect of the tradition helps explain its enduring popularity, offering catharsis through carefully orchestrated encounters with the symbolic darkness we all must sometimes face. The Krampus tradition bridges the gap between Christian St. Nicholas celebrations and older pagan winter solstice rituals, creating a unique synthesis that honors both spiritual traditions. This blending reflects how cultures naturally evolve, incorporating new beliefs while maintaining connections to ancestral wisdom. The creature serves as winter's shadow, reminding celebrants that light gains meaning through contrast with darkness. Rather than erasing pre-Christian customs, Alpine communities found ways to weave them into newer religious frameworks, creating richer, more complex holiday experiences. As midnight approaches on Krampusnacht, the creatures gradually retreat from village streets, their bells growing fainter until only winter silence remains. Children who initially hid behind parents now wave goodbye to the retreating figures, understanding that the frightening visitors were actually neighbors in disguise. Hot chocolate and warm pastries await in cozy homes, where families share stories of the evening's encounters. The transition from fear to comfort happens naturally, like waking from an exciting dream into the safety of familiar surroundings. The Krampus masks are carefully stored away until next December, but their influence lingers throughout the year in Austrian mountain communities. Children remember the lessons embedded in the theatrical scares, while adults appreciate how the tradition strengthens community bonds through shared participation in ancient customs. Local artisans begin planning next year's masks and costumes, ensuring the tradition continues evolving while maintaining its essential character. The creature hibernates in workshop corners and family attics, waiting patiently for winter's return to once again dance through snowy streets. As we leave the realm of Krampus behind, we carry with us the understanding that even our most frightening traditions often hide gentle hearts beneath fearsome masks. The Austrian shadows gradually lighten, revealing the warm glow of another Christmas custom waiting to unfold. From theatrical scares, we now turn toward one of the season's most cherished mysteries, the secretive art of gift-giving. Let the bells fade into memory as we discover how presents became the language through which love speaks during winter's longest nights. Chapter 7. Enigmatic Visits. Santa Claus and His Helpers. In the hushed corners of winter nights, where frost paints windows with delicate lace, we encounter a figure whose presence has warmed hearts for centuries. His story begins not in the North Pole, but in ancient Myra, where a generous bishop walked cobblestone streets, leaving gifts for those who needed hope most. Saint Nicholas lived in the 4th century, his hands always reaching toward those forgotten by fortune. In shadows of early morning, he would slip coins through windows, place bread on doorsteps, ensuring no child woke to empty hands. His beard grew white with wisdom, his heart expanded with each act of kindness, creating ripples that would flow across oceans of time. As centuries turned like pages in an ancient book, Nicholas transformed. Dutch sailors carried his memory across dark waters, whispering stories of Sinterklaas, who arrived by ship each December. His image shifted, softened, becoming the jolly figure we recognize today, red-cheeked and twinkling-eyed, a beacon of generosity wrapped in winter's embrace, ready to bring wonder to waiting hearts everywhere. In America's melting pot, Santa Claus emerged fully formed. Clement Moore's gentle poem painted him with 8 tiny reindeer, while Thomas Nast's illustrations gave him his workshop, his elves, his home at the world's top. Each brushstroke added magic, each verse deepened the mystery, until Santa became not just a person, but a living embodiment of Christmas wonder itself. But Santa never worked alone. Around him gathered a constellation of helpers, each bringing their own magic to the season. In his workshop, countless elves bent over tiny toys, their hammers tapping gentle rhythms, their songs floating through snowy air. These diminutive craftsmen worked with joy, their small hands creating big dreams, turning wood and metal into childhood memories that would last lifetimes. The elves themselves carry ancient origins, born from Norse mythology, where light elves dwelled in Alfheim, beings of pure creativity and joy. In Santa's realm, they found perfect purpose, their immortal lives dedicated to bringing happiness to mortal children. Each elf possessed special skills, some carved wooden horses, others stitched dolls, all working in harmony beneath the northern lights' gentle glow. Yet not all of Santa's helpers wore cheerful smiles. In Germanic traditions, Belsnickel prowled the December nights, his fur coat ragged, his face hidden behind wild whiskers. This companion carried both rewards and warnings, bringing sweets for good children, switches for those who strayed. His presence reminded families that Christmas generosity came with gentle lessons about kindness, respect, and love. Across European villages, other helpers emerged from winter folklore. Zwarte Piet in Holland, the Christkind in Germany, La Befana in Italy, each bringing their own traditions, their own gifts, their own magic. These figures wove through local customs like golden threads, connecting Santa's universal message of love to the unique heartbeat of each culture, each community, each family gathering. In Santa's legendary workshop, the sound of creation never ceased. Toy trains whistled on miniature tracks, rocking horses galloped in place, dolls received their final stitches with tender care. The elves worked by candlelight and starshine, their workshop glowing warm against Arctic winds, a beacon of hope in the polar darkness, where every toy held a child's wish, every gift carried a parent's love. Mrs. Claus moved through this magical chaos with quiet grace, her presence bringing order to joyful disorder. She mended torn mittens, stirred hot cocoa for tired elves, and helped Santa prepare for his annual journey. Her wisdom guided the workshop, her love warmed the North Pole, her gentle hands ensuring every detail received the attention that made Christmas morning special for children worldwide. The reindeer waited in starlit pastures, their breath creating silver clouds in the frigid air. Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, each possessed their own personality, their own magic. Rudolph's red nose glowed like a lighthouse beacon, guiding the team through storm clouds and starlight, his unique gift transforming what others saw as different into something beautifully essential, perfectly needed, absolutely magical. As Christmas Eve approached, the magic intensified. Letters from children arrived by mysterious means, carried on winter winds, delivered by hopeful hearts. Each wish was read, considered, treasured. The elves worked faster, their songs growing louder, their joy becoming almost tangible. Santa studied his route, checked his list, prepared for the night when time itself would bend to accommodate wonder. On that most sacred night, Santa began his journey. His sleigh rose above the workshop, above the aurora borealis, above the concerns of ordinary time. He visited every home where belief lived, slipping down chimneys, placing gifts beneath trees, filling stockings with small treasures. His presence blessed each house, his generosity creating memories that would warm hearts through countless winters ahead. The gifts themselves carried profound meaning. Each toy, each book, each small surprise represented connection between giver and receiver. Parents wrapped presents with trembling fingers, knowing their children would wake to wonder. Grandparents chose gifts with careful thought. Teachers selected books with love. Friends exchanged tokens of affection, all participating in Santa's great symphony of giving, receiving, sharing joy across the globe. Children worldwide shared the same Christmas morning magic, regardless of language, culture, circumstances. In Tokyo apartments, in London flats, in rural farmhouses, in city penthouses, the same gasps of delight echoed, the same bright eyes sparkled, the same grateful hearts overflowed. Santa's gifts created a global moment of pure happiness, a universal experience of wonder that transcended all boundaries, all differences, all distances. As dawn broke on Christmas morning, Santa returned to his workshop, his helpers welcoming him home with warm embraces. Another successful journey completed, another year of dreams delivered, another chapter in the endless story of Christmas love. The magic would rest now, gathering strength for next year's miracle, while across the world, children played with new toys, and parents smiled, remembering their own Christmas mornings long ago. Chapter 8. Forgotten Carols. Ukraine's Spiders and Cobwebs. In the heart of Ukrainian winter, where snow blankets ancient villages, a legend whispers through time. Tonight we journey to a humble cottage, where poverty meets miracle, where despair transforms into wonder. Here, in this simple dwelling, we discover how the smallest creatures became bearers of Christmas magic, spinning threads of hope into traditions that still shimmer today. Like dewdrops caught in morning light, the wind howls across the frozen steppes, carrying the scent of pine and possibility. Inside a weathered cottage, oil lamps flicker against wooden walls, casting dancing shadows that seem to breathe with life. A family huddles close, their faces worn by hardship, yet their hearts still harbor dreams. Tomorrow is Christmas, but their purse lies empty. Their tree stands bare, their hopes hanging by the thinnest of threads. The mother sighs as she gazes at their simple evergreen, brought in from the forest with such joy, now standing naked in the corner. No ornaments, no candles, no gifts beneath its branches. Her children sleep fitfully, dreaming perhaps of Christmas mornings in warmer times, when their father's hands were steady, when the harvest was bountiful, when hope felt as natural as breathing. Tonight, hope seems as distant as the stars, but in the eaves of their cottage, tiny architects work through the night. Spiders, those ancient weavers, begin their silent labor. Thread by thread, they spin their magic, creating patterns more intricate than any human hand could craft. Their webs catch the moonlight filtering through frost-kissed windows, transforming simple strands into threads of silver, into whispers of wonder, into promises that tomorrow holds mysteries yet unseen. As dawn breaks over the Ukrainian countryside, painting the sky in shades of rose and gold, the family awakens to a sight that steals their breath. Their bare Christmas tree, once naked and forlorn, now shimmers beneath a canopy of spider silk. Every branch, every needle, draped in the finest cobwebs, catching the morning light like captured starlight, transforming their humble tree into something magical, something divine. The children gasp in wonder, their eyes wide as saucers, their hearts racing with joy. The mother's tears catch the light, reflecting the same silver shimmer that adorns their tree. They have witnessed a miracle, not of gold or silver, but of silken devotion, of tiny creatures who understood their need, who worked through the darkness, who transformed despair into beauty with nothing more than patience, dedication, and countless tiny threads. From this moment, from this humble cottage in Ukraine, a tradition is born. Word spreads through neighboring villages, carried on winter winds, whispered in marketplaces, sung in ancient carols. The legend of the Christmas spider, the blessing of the cobwebs, the miracle that comes to those who believe, even when believing feels impossible. Families begin searching for spider webs, treasuring them, honoring them as gifts from heaven itself. Listen. Can you hear them? The forgotten carols rising through centuries, Ukrainian voices lifted in praise, singing of spiders who work while the world sleeps, who spin beauty from emptiness, who prove that miracles come in the smallest packages. These melodies drift across snowy fields, through candlelit windows, carrying the story of Christmas cobwebs, of hope that shimmers like morning dew, of faith rewarded in the most unexpected ways. As generations pass, Ukrainian families embrace this gentle tradition. They craft tiny spiders from silver and gold, delicate ornaments that honor those first web weavers. Each December, they search their Christmas trees, hoping to find real cobwebs nestled among the branches, believing these natural decorations bring good fortune, prosperity, protection for the coming year. The spider becomes a symbol, not of fear, but of blessing. In workshop corners, artisans work by lamplight, creating spider ornaments with loving care. Thin silver wire twisted into 8 delicate legs, tiny bodies gleaming like captured moonbeams, web patterns etched in filigree, so fine they seem to move in candlelight. These ornaments pass from grandmother to granddaughter, from father to son, carrying stories, carrying blessings, carrying the memory of that first miraculous morning when cobwebs became Christmas magic. The tradition spreads beyond Ukraine's borders, traveling with families who carry their customs like treasures. In new lands, in new languages, the story adapts, transforms, yet remains true to its heart. Spider ornaments appear on Christmas trees in distant countries, each one a whisper of that original miracle, each one a reminder that beauty can emerge from emptiness, that hope can be spun from the thinnest threads. Picture those original cottage windows, frost painting delicate patterns on glass, while inside, a family gathers around their transformed tree. They speak in hushed tones, their voices filled with reverence, sharing the story with wide-eyed children, teaching them to look for magic in unexpected places, to find wonder in the work of tiny creatures, to believe that miracles often wear the simplest disguises, requiring only eyes willing to see. The cobweb tradition teaches us patience, the spider's greatest virtue. Through long winter nights, these tiny architects work without recognition, without applause, creating beauty for its own sake. They remind us that the most meaningful gifts often come from the smallest gestures, that transformation happens quietly, that miracles are woven, thread by thread, moment by moment, with dedication that never seeks credit, only completion. As Christmas morning light filters through Ukrainian windows, families pause before their decorated trees. They offer silent thanks, not just for ornaments and gifts, but for the reminder that hope persists, that beauty emerges from hardship, that even in our darkest moments, tiny workers labor on our behalf, spinning webs of possibility, creating paths from despair to joy, from emptiness to abundance, from loneliness to connection. The spider's lesson echoes through generations, teaching children to notice small wonders, to appreciate quiet workers, to find magic in everyday miracles. Ukrainian mothers still tell this story, their voices soft as silk, their words weaving their own kind of web, connecting past to present, tradition to transformation, one family to another, one heart to another, one Christmas to the next, infinitely, eternally, beautifully. And so, as Ukraine's spider story draws to a close, we carry its warmth forward, letting gratitude shimmer like cobwebs in morning light. But our journey through winter traditions continues. The wind now calls us northward, towards Scandinavian fjords and pine forests, where different customs await discovery, where new stories whisper through snow-laden branches, where ancient rituals still dance in firelight, inviting us deeper into winter's embracing arms. Chapter 9: Scandinavian Flame, the St. Lucia Day. In the depths of December darkness, when winter nights stretch endlessly across Scandinavia, a gentle flame pierces the gloom. Long before Christmas morning arrives, before gift exchanges and festive meals, there comes a quieter celebration, a tradition that transforms the longest nights into moments of pure light, where young voices carry ancient melodies through sleeping neighborhoods, where candles crown innocent heads with halos of hope and warmth. The 13th of December dawns in complete darkness, as it has for centuries across Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. In homes throughout these northern lands, families stir before sunrise, preparing for a ritual that predates Christmas itself. Children dress in flowing white robes, their movements careful and reverent. Today they become part of something larger than themselves, a procession of light that connects them to generations of believers, to a story of courage that began in distant Sicily. The eldest daughter becomes Saint Lucia, her white gown flowing like fresh snow, a crown of candles balanced carefully upon her head. Real flames flicker in the darkness, casting dancing shadows across her serene face. Behind her, siblings and friends form a gentle procession, some carrying single candles, others dressed as star boys with pointed caps and silver stars. Their voices join in harmony, singing songs that echo through hallways and hearts alike. The procession moves slowly through the house, feet padding softly across wooden floors, candle flames swaying with each careful step. They bring coffee and saffron buns, gingerbread cookies, shaped like hearts and stars, treats that carry the warmth of kitchen hearths into darkened bedrooms. Parents wake to gentle melodies, to the sight of their children transformed into bearers of ancient light, continuing a tradition that turns winter's harshest moment into tenderness. But who was this Lucia, this saint whose memory lights December mornings? Her story begins far from Scandinavia's snowy forests, in the warm Mediterranean city of Syracuse. During the early centuries of Christian faith, Lucia lived in a time when believing could cost everything, when following Christ meant facing persecution, when young women of faith often paid the ultimate price for their devotion to something greater than earthly power. Lucia chose faith over comfort, devotion over safety, light over the gathering darkness of persecution. When Roman authorities demanded she renounce her beliefs, she refused with quiet courage. The young woman who would become a beacon for millions stood firm, even as flames were meant to consume her. Legend tells us the fire would not touch her, that divine protection surrounded her like an invisible shield, making her a symbol of light conquering darkness. Her name itself means light, a fitting legacy for one who would illuminate the darkest nights for centuries to come. Though martyrdom claimed her young life, her spirit became something imperishable, a flame that would travel northward across centuries and continents, finding new life in Scandinavian hearts, hungry for hope during their longest nights. In Sicily, she died, but in Scandinavia, her light learned to dance through winter darkness. The crown of candles that adorns each Lucia's head speaks to this ancient connection, real flames balanced carefully above flowing hair, a reminder that light requires courage to carry. The white robe represents purity, innocence preserved through faith, the simple beauty of believing in something beyond what eyes can see. Each flame flickers with the breath of centuries, each song carries melodies that have comforted countless generations through winter's deepest darkness. Throughout Sweden especially, the morning processions have become sacred theatre, schools and communities organizing elaborate celebrations where children become living symbols of hope. The songs they sing, Sancta Lucia and others, carry haunting melodies that seem born from winter wind itself. Their voices rise and fall like prayers made audible, transforming ordinary December mornings into something mystical, something that touches the soul with unexpected gentleness and ancient peace. The star boys who accompany Lucia wear pointed caps, decorated with silver stars and moons, their costumes echoing the cosmic dance of winter constellations. They carry their own candles, smaller flames that support the main light, reminding us that true illumination comes through community, through many hearts joining together in common purpose. Each child becomes part of a constellation of faith, individual lights creating something brighter than any could achieve alone. The treats they carry speak to winter's need for warmth and sustenance. Saffron buns, golden as captured sunlight, gingerbread cookies shaped with loving hands, coffee that steams like incense in the cold morning air. These simple offerings transform a spiritual observance into something deeply human, connecting the ethereal beauty of candlelight processions with the earthy comfort of shared food, of families gathering around kitchen tables as darkness slowly gives way to dawn. In nursing homes and hospitals, Lucia processions bring light to those who need it most. Children visiting elders with songs and gentle smiles, candle flames reflecting in tear-filled eyes of those remembering their own childhood processions. The tradition bridges generations, connecting great-grandmothers with great-granddaughters through shared memory, through the eternal human need for light during darkness, for hope during times that test the spirit's endurance and faith. Even Swedish communities far from their homeland maintain these December rituals, expatriate families teaching children born under foreign skies the songs their grandparents sang. In American cities, Australian suburbs, wherever Scandinavian hearts beat with homesickness, St. Lucia Day becomes a bridge across oceans, a way of carrying light from one culture to another, proving that some traditions transcend geography, that light speaks a universal language of comfort. As the morning progresses and natural daylight finally arrives, the candles are carefully extinguished, white robes folded away, the magic settling into memory. Families gather for breakfast, the formal procession giving way to informal conversation, laughter mixing with the lingering scent of saffron and candle wax. Yet something has changed in the house, in the hearts of those who participated, a warmth that will carry through the remaining days of Advent. The St. Lucia tradition reminds us that light is not passive. It requires carriers, brave souls willing to balance flames above their heads, to walk carefully through darkness, to sing when the world feels too heavy for song. Each December 13th becomes a lesson in courage, in the power of small lights to push back enormous shadows, in the way ancient faith continues to illuminate modern hearts with timeless beauty and hope. As Lucia's candles fade into memory, as the last saffron crumb is savoured, as white robes return to closets until next December, we turn toward other mysteries, other traditions that transform winter darkness into something sacred. Somewhere across the world, other cultures kindle their own flames against the cold, other voices rise in songs that connect earth to heaven, other stories wait to unfold, carrying their own unique light into our listening hearts. Chapter 10. Fragrant Boughs, the Mistletoe Tradition. High above in ancient oaks, delicate white berries cluster among emerald leaves, swaying gently in winter's breath. This sacred plant has woven itself through centuries of human ritual, from druid ceremonies in moonlit groves to Victorian parlours filled with laughter. Tonight we discover how mistletoe became the bridge between earth and heaven, between strangers and lovers, between past and present. Long before Christmas trees adorned our homes, Celtic druids gazed upward at mistletoe, clinging to oak branches. They called it the golden bough, believing it held power from the gods themselves. When winter stripped the forest bare, mistletoe remained green and alive, a miracle of nature defying death. The druids harvested it with golden sickles, never letting it touch the ground, preserving its celestial connection, its promise of eternal life. In Norse mythology, mistletoe carried both blessing and sorrow. Frigg, goddess of love, made all plants promise never to harm her beloved son Balder, but she overlooked the humble mistletoe, growing high in the trees. The trickster god Loki fashioned an arrow from its wood, and Balder fell. Yet from this tragedy, mistletoe became sacred, a symbol of love's power to overcome even death, transformation through grief, beauty born from loss. The ancient Romans also honored mistletoe, hanging it in their homes during winter festivals. They believed it brought peace to enemies, that rivals who met beneath its boughs would lay down their weapons, embrace as friends. Soldiers would hang up their swords, merchants would forget their quarrels, families would reconcile old wounds. Mistletoe became the great peacemaker, the plant that whispered of harmony, turning winter's darkest days into seasons of forgiveness, moments of grace. As Christianity spread through Europe, mistletoe's pagan associations made church leaders wary, yet its symbolism proved too powerful, too beloved to abandon completely. Slowly, quietly, it found its way into Christmas celebrations. The plant that once honored ancient gods now celebrated the birth of Christ, its evergreen leaves echoing eternal life, its white berries pure as angels' wings, its persistence through winter matching faith through darkness, hope through trials. Medieval England embraced mistletoe with particular warmth. Country folk hung bundles above their doorways, believing it protected homes from evil spirits, brought good fortune to all who entered. The custom grew, spreading from cottage to castle, from peasant hearth to royal hall. Lords and servants alike paused beneath its branches, sharing moments of equality, of common humanity, as winter winds whistled outside, and mistletoe worked its gentle magic within. The kissing tradition began gradually, quietly, in those medieval halls. Young people discovered that mistletoe offered perfect excuse, sweet permission for stolen glances, shy touches, first kisses. What began as ancient ritual slowly transformed into romance. A sprig of mistletoe became invitation, promise, hope. Beneath its delicate boughs, courtships bloomed, hearts discovered each other, love found its voice in whispered words, gentle laughter, the soft rustle of winter garments, tender embraces. By the Georgian era, mistletoe had claimed its place as Christmas tradition. Servants decorated grand houses with elaborate arrangements, weaving ribbons through the branches, adding holly and ivy for contrast. The plant's significance deepened, becoming symbol not just of love, but of Christmas joy itself. Families gathered beneath mistletoe balls, sharing kisses, blessings, warm embraces. Children giggled, adults reminisced, grandparents smiled, watching new generations discover mistletoe's timeless magic, its power to bring hearts together. Victorian times elevated mistletoe to art form. Elaborate kissing balls appeared, intricate spheres of greenery, adorned with silk ribbons, tiny bells, delicate ornaments. Ladies spent hours crafting these masterpieces, layering mistletoe with boxwood, rosemary, sweet bay. Each ball hung from crystal chandeliers, catching candlelight, casting gentle shadows. The Victorians understood atmosphere, creating moments of enchantment, transforming simple customs into experiences of beauty, memory, wonder. The berries themselves held special meaning, small white pearls against emerald leaves. Each berry represented a kiss, and tradition demanded that one be removed after each embrace beneath the bough. When all berries disappeared, the mistletoe's power ended, at least until next Christmas. This gentle ritual added sweetness, anticipation, making each kiss precious, counted, remembered. Young lovers watched anxiously, hoping berries would last, that magic might linger, just a little longer. American colonists brought mistletoe traditions across the ocean, adapting them to new landscapes, new customs. In Virginia plantations, New England cottages, frontier cabins, mistletoe found its place. Settlers gathered it from oak trees, fashioned simple arrangements, continued age-old practices in this new world. The tradition evolved, becoming distinctly American, blending old-world charm with frontier practicality, European elegance with pioneer resourcefulness, creating something both familiar and entirely fresh. Today's mistletoe carries forward these ancient stories, these whispered legends, whether hanging in modern doorways or adorning holiday wreaths. It connects us to Druids, Vikings, Victorian lovers, countless souls who found magic in its simple presence. We feel their wonder, share their hope, continue their traditions. Beneath mistletoe's quiet boughs, past and present merge, creating moments both timeless and uniquely our own, bridges between what was and what might yet be. The plant itself remains unchanged, patient, enduring. Its bright red berries cluster like tiny lanterns, glowing against winter's pale sky. Each leaf catches morning light, holds evening shadows, witnesses countless stories unfolding beneath its branches. Mistletoe asks nothing, gives everything, offering its quiet presence, its gentle invitation to pause, to connect, to remember that even in winter's depths, life persists, love endures, hope remains, green and growing. Scientists now understand what ancients sensed: mistletoe's remarkable nature. This parasitic plant draws life from its host, yet harms nothing, taking only what it needs, giving back beauty, shelter for birds, food for winter creatures. It embodies perfect balance, harmony between taking and giving, between dependence and independence. Perhaps this is why it speaks so deeply, why it became symbol of love itself, the art of connection without possession, of sharing without depleting. As red berries catch the light, they seem to glow like tiny lanterns, floating in the gathering dusk. These same berries that once marked kisses now transform in our imagination, becoming lights that guide us forward toward new traditions, new celebrations. The mistletoe tradition flows like a river, carrying ancient wisdom into modern hearts, connecting us to something larger than ourselves, something beautiful, something lasting, something that whispers of love, of peace, of hope eternal. These glowing berries now become our bridge, floating like paper lanterns across oceans, carrying mistletoe's gentle spirit eastward, toward lands where Christmas takes different forms, yet shares the same heart. From Celtic groves to Japanese gardens, from Druid ceremonies to modern celebrations, the thread of human connection remains unbroken. As mistletoe's berries transform into lantern light, we prepare to discover how Christmas blooms in the land of the rising sun, where tradition and innovation dance together. Chapter 11. Illuminated Rituals. Christmas in Japan. Far across the Pacific, where ancient traditions meet modern wonder, Japan has woven Christmas into its cultural tapestry in the most unexpected ways. Here, the holiday becomes something entirely new, a celebration of light and togetherness that defies convention, yet captures the very heart of seasonal magic. In bustling Tokyo, millions of LED lights transform the cityscape into a winter wonderland of electric snow. The illuminations begin in November, cascading down skyscrapers like frozen waterfalls, turning ordinary streets into pathways of dreams. Families stroll beneath these glowing canopies, their faces painted in soft blues and warm whites, creating memories in this manufactured magic. The Roppongi district becomes a galaxy of twinkling stars, each building competing to create the most breathtaking display. Children press their faces against car windows, mesmerized by the dancing patterns of light. Couples walk hand in hand through illuminated tunnels, their whispered conversations mixing with the gentle hum of electricity, creating a modern lullaby of urban enchantment. In Shibuya, the famous crossing becomes a stage where millions of lights reflect off umbrellas and rain-soaked pavement. The neon signs blend with Christmas decorations, creating a unique fusion of commercial energy and holiday spirit. Even the vending machines seem to glow a little brighter, as if touched by seasonal magic, transforming the ordinary into something wondrous. Travel west to Osaka, where German-inspired Christmas markets have taken root in Japanese soil. The aroma of glühwein mingles with yakitori smoke, creating an unexpected harmony of flavors. Wooden stalls adorned with evergreen garlands offer handcrafted ornaments alongside traditional Japanese sweets, bridging cultures through the universal language of celebration and warmth. At these markets, the sound of German carols blends with gentle Japanese conversation. Visitors sip warm mulled wine from ceramic mugs, their breath visible in the crisp winter air. The soft glow of lanterns illuminates faces filled with wonder, as East meets West in the most delightful way, creating new traditions from the threads of old ones. But perhaps Japan's most curious Christmas tradition began with a simple marketing campaign. In the 1970s, Kentucky Fried Chicken convinced an entire nation that fried chicken was the perfect Christmas meal. What started as clever advertising became a beloved ritual, with families reserving their Christmas buckets weeks in advance, creating their own version of holiday feast. On Christmas Eve, long queues form outside KFC restaurants across the country. Families wait patiently, their anticipation building like children on Christmas morning. The familiar red and white buckets have become as iconic as Christmas trees, proving that tradition can bloom anywhere, taking root in the most unexpected soil, and flourishing into something uniquely beautiful. Inside Japanese homes, Christmas chicken is shared with the same reverence as any traditional meal. Children gather around low tables, their faces lit by the warm glow of electric trees. Parents serve the meal on special plates, transforming fast food into something sacred through the simple act of togetherness, making every bite a celebration of family. The magic extends beyond the meal, as families exchange gifts beneath illuminated trees. In tiny apartments and sprawling homes alike, the spirit of giving transcends space and circumstance. Wrapped packages rustle with promise, while outside the windows, the city continues its electric dance, creating a backdrop of wonder for intimate moments. As Christmas fades into memory, another tradition takes the stage. Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, particularly the Ode to Joy, fills concert halls across Japan during the final days of December. This musical ritual has become as essential as the New Year itself, with amateur choirs and professional orchestras alike lifting their voices in celebration, creating a bridge between years. The haunting melody of the Ninth Symphony echoes through packed auditoriums, thousands of voices joining in harmony. The music carries hope and reflection, washing over audiences like a gentle tide. Each note seems to cleanse the departing year, preparing hearts and minds for the possibilities that lie ahead. In the soft embrace of familiar melody, in smaller venues, amateur choirs pour their hearts into every measure. The imperfect beauty of untrained voices creates something more powerful than professional perfection. Neighbors sing alongside strangers, their combined breath-forming clouds in cold concert halls, united by Beethoven's timeless message of universal brotherhood, transcending language and culture through the power of song. As the final notes of the symphony fade into silence, the Christmas season officially ends. The illuminations begin to dim, one by one, like stars retreating before dawn. Markets pack away their wooden stalls, leaving only memories of glühwein and laughter. The city prepares for a different kind of celebration, as Christmas gives way to New Year traditions. In the quiet moments between celebrations, temple bells begin their ancient call. The deep, resonant tones roll across neighborhoods, like gentle waves, carrying prayers and wishes into the night. These bronze voices have called the faithful for centuries, their sound unchanged, even as the world transforms around them, providing continuity in a season of change. The church bells join this sacred chorus, their lighter tones dancing above the temple's deeper voice. Christian and Buddhist traditions blend in the winter air, creating a symphony of faith that transcends denomination. As these bells fade into the distance, they carry us forward, toward new stories and ancient wisdom, waiting in the shadows of tomorrow's dawn. Chapter 12. Sonic Christmas, The Enduring Carols. In a dimly lit cathedral, voices rise like winter mist. The ancient melody of Angel's Hymn drifts through stone corridors, carried by breath that becomes visible in the cold air. This oldest of Christmas carols holds secrets within its notes, whispers of faith that have echoed for centuries. Tonight we explore these timeless songs, discovering how simple melodies became the soundtrack of Christmas itself, weaving through history like golden thread through fabric. Listen, can you hear them? Choir voices blend in perfect harmony, their breath creating gentle clouds in the frosty air. Each singer adds their voice to an eternal chorus that began generations ago. The Angel's Hymn flows like water over smooth stones, each note carefully placed, each pause deliberately crafted. This is where our journey into Christmas carols begins, in the sacred space where human voice meets divine inspiration, where music becomes prayer, where song becomes story. These oldest carols emerged from monastery walls, where monks chanted by candlelight through winter nights. Their voices rose and fell like ocean tides, creating rhythms that matched the human heartbeat. Angel's Hymn carries the weight of centuries, its Latin phrases worn smooth by countless tongues. Each repetition added layers of meaning, like snow accumulating on cathedral stones. The melody itself became a vessel, carrying prayers across time, connecting us to those who sang before us in ages past. From Latin came the foundation, ancient words that rolled like distant thunder across monastery halls. These hymns were born in scriptoriums, written by candlelight on parchment that crackled with age. Monks understood that music could carry what words alone could not, that melody could touch the soul directly. Their chants followed the natural breath, rising with inspiration, falling with contemplation. Each Latin syllable was chosen for its sound, its ability to resonate in stone chambers and human hearts alike. Watch as religion itself transforms through song, each generation adding its voice to the eternal chorus. What began as solemn Latin chants gradually embraced the languages of common people. Village carols emerged, sung in German forests, English countryside, French chapels. The sacred and secular began to dance together, creating melodies that could be hummed by children, yet still carry profound meaning. Faith found new expressions, adapting to changing times while preserving its essential spirit through enduring melodies. The transformation continues, as medieval hymns give birth to modern carols. Composers began writing for the people, not just for trained choirs. Melodies became simpler, more memorable, designed to be carried home from church and sung around family hearths. The shift from Latin to vernacular languages opened doors, allowing everyone to participate in the musical celebration. These contemporary carols retained the spiritual essence, while embracing accessibility. Music became democracy, where every voice mattered, where every heart could join the song. Silent Night, perhaps the most beloved carol of all, was born from necessity on Christmas Eve, 1818. In Oberndorf, Austria, the church organ had broken. Father Joseph Moore needed music for midnight mass, something that could be played on guitar. He approached Franz Gruber, the local schoolteacher and organist. Together they created a melody so simple, so pure, that it seemed to capture the very essence of that holy night. What began as an emergency solution became timeless treasure. The magic of Silent Night lies in its gentle contradictions, strength found in simplicity, power discovered in quietude. The melody moves like a lullaby, each note chosen for its ability to soothe rather than stir. Listen to how the rhythm matches a mother's heartbeat, how the pauses create space for wonder. The German words flow like water, while translations capture the universal longing for peace. This carol doesn't demand attention, it invites contemplation, drawing listeners into its serene embrace with irresistible tenderness. Now hear the bells. Jingle Bells rings out with completely different energy. Written by James Lord Pierpont in 1857, this carol celebrates the secular joy of winter itself. No religious message here, just pure exuberance. The sound of sleigh bells cutting through crisp air. The melody bounces like horses' hooves on packed snow, each note bright and clear as winter stars. This carol captures the playful side of the season, reminding us that Christmas can be both sacred and celebratory, both reverent and joyful. The sonic appeal of Jingle Bells lies in its percussive nature, the way the melody itself mimics the sound of bells. Each note strikes like metal against metal, creating rhythm that makes feet want to move, voices want to sing along. The repetition becomes hypnotic, like the steady jingle, jingle, jingle of sleigh bells on a winter road. This carol doesn't ask for contemplation. It demands participation. Its simplicity is its genius, creating instant connection between singer and song, between memory and moment. Within these carols live storytelling magic, the ability to transport listeners across time and space with just a few notes. Silent Night carries us to that Austrian church. We can almost smell the candles, feel the cold stone beneath our feet. Jingle Bells takes us racing through snow-covered landscapes, wind in our faces, bells ringing in our ears. Each carol becomes a vehicle, carrying us to places we've never been, yet somehow remember. Music becomes memory, melody becomes journey. These songs connect generations in ways that words alone cannot. Grandparents and grandchildren sharing the same melodies, the same moments of recognition when familiar notes begin. A grandmother hums Silent Night while decorating cookies. Her granddaughter unconsciously joins in. The carol becomes bridge, spanning decades, connecting hearts across time. Children learn these songs not through study, but through absorption, breathing them in like winter air, carrying them forward into their own families, their own Christmas memories. The harmonious evolution of religious expression reveals itself in every carol we've explored. From angels' hymns ancient Latin to Silent Night's gentle German, from monastery chants to family sing-alongs, we witness faith adapting, growing, finding new voices while preserving eternal truths. Each generation added its own harmonies, its own interpretations, yet the core remained constant. The divine spark that inspired those first monks still glows, still moves through voices raised in song, still connects earth to heaven through simple melodies. Across cultures, these carols found new homes, new languages, new rhythms. Silent Night exists in over 300 languages, each version carrying the spirit while embracing local musical traditions. African drums joined European melodies, Asian instruments added their voices, American spirituals contributed their soul. The carols became truly universal, proving that music transcends boundaries, that certain truths resonate in every human heart, regardless of language, regardless of distance, regardless of time. Universal songs for universal longings. As our exploration draws to a close, the carols begin to fade, their echoes growing softer, like voices disappearing into frosty night air. The last notes of Angel's hymn drift away. Silent Night becomes whisper. Jingle Bells softens to gentle chiming in the distance. Yet they don't truly end, these melodies. They continue in memory, in tradition, in the hearts of all who have heard them. The frosty air holds their essence, waiting for next Christmas, when voices will rise again to sing these timeless songs. The silence that follows is not empty, but full of possibility. In this quiet space between chapters, between songs, we prepare for what comes next. The carols have done their work, weaving their magic, connecting us to centuries of Christmas celebration. Now other mysteries await, other traditions beckon, other stories whisper their invitations. The frosty night air carries new scents, new sounds, new wonders. Our journey through Christmas traditions continues, guided by the echoes of ancient songs, into realms yet unexplored. Chapter 13. Behind the Eggnog, a toast to Christmas. In medieval England, when winter winds howled through stone castles, there existed a warming drink called posset, a simple mixture of hot ale or wine curdled with milk. Monks and merchants alike would gather around flickering hearths, sharing this creamy concoction that promised warmth against the bitter cold. Little did they know this humble beverage would cross oceans and transform into America's beloved holiday tradition. The posset of Old England was rustic and practical, made from whatever was available in the pantry. Tavern keepers would heat strong ale until it bubbled, then slowly pour it over fresh milk, watching as the mixture thickened into a satisfying drink. Sometimes honey was stirred in for sweetness, or spices from distant lands when merchants could afford such luxuries. This was comfort in a cup, a shield against the endless grey of English winters. As centuries passed, the recipe began to evolve. Eggs found their way into the mixture, creating a richer, more luxurious drink. Wealthy households would beat whole eggs with cream and sugar, then slowly temper the mixture with warm wine or brandy. The result was smoother, more refined than its humble ancestor, a drink worthy of grand halls and important celebrations. The transformation from simple posset to elegant eggnog had begun to take shape. When English colonists sailed across the Atlantic, they carried this tradition in their hearts and memories, but the New World would reshape their beloved drink in unexpected ways. Here, in America's fertile valleys, dairy cows grazed on endless pastures, producing cream so rich it seemed to coat the tongue like silk. Chickens pecked freely in vast farmyards, laying eggs with golden yolks that would transform the humble posset into something extraordinary and uniquely American. The abundance of the American countryside was a revelation to these settlers. Fresh milk flowed like rivers, cream rose thick as clouds, and eggs were gathered by the basketful each morning. What had once been a luxury in England became everyday ingredients in the New World. Colonial housewives discovered they could create a drink so rich and decadent it rivaled anything served in the finest European courts, using only what their own farms provided. In colonial kitchens, the art of eggnog making became a cherished ritual. Eggs were separated with practiced hands, whites whipped to snowy peaks, while yolks were beaten with sugar until pale and thick. Fresh cream was folded in slowly, creating a base so rich it seemed to glow in the candlelight. Then came the spirits, rum from the Caribbean, brandy from France, or local whiskey, each adding its own character to the magnificent creation taking shape. The final touch was always the spices, nutmeg grated fresh from whole seeds, releasing its warm aromatic oils into the mixture. Some households added cinnamon, or a whisper of vanilla, but nutmeg remained the crown jewel, its distinctive flavor marking the difference between ordinary cream and true eggnog. The spice would float on the surface like tiny stars, promising the complex flavors that awaited each sip of this increasingly beloved American adaptation. By the 18th century, eggnog had become America's signature holiday drink, served in small crystal glasses that caught the firelight and sparkled like precious gems. The portions were deliberately modest, not because the drink was scarce, but because its richness demanded restraint. Each glass contained enough cream and eggs to satisfy, enough spirits to warm, and enough sweetness to remind drinkers that the holidays were indeed a time for indulgence and celebration. The tradition of serving eggnog in small glasses sparked something wonderful across the growing nation. It transformed the simple act of drinking into an opportunity for gathering and socializing. Neighbors began hosting eggnog parties, where friends would arrive with their own recipes and share stories around warm hearths. These gatherings became known as eggnogging, a uniquely American social custom that spread from plantation houses to frontier cabins like wildfire across the continent. Eggnogging parties became the highlight of the Christmas season, drawing people together during the darkest months of winter. Hosts would prepare vast bowls of their finest recipes, each family guarding their secret proportions of cream, spirits, and spices. Guests would arrive bundled against the cold, stamping snow from their boots before gathering around the eggnog bowl. Conversation flowed as smoothly as the rich drink itself, creating memories that would warm hearts long after winter passed. The ritual of tasting eggnog became an art in itself. First came the visual pleasure of the pale, golden mixture crowned with freshly grated nutmeg. Then the aroma would rise, sweet cream mingling with warm spices, and the subtle heat of alcohol. The first sip revealed layers of flavor, rich dairy coating the tongue, followed by the gentle bite of nutmeg and the smooth burn of spirits that warmed from throat to chest. Each sip of properly made eggnog told the story of American abundance, cream so thick it seemed to have weight, eggs so fresh they added sunshine to every drop. The nutmeg provided a gentle prickle that awakened the palate, while the alcohol created a fleeting smoothness that disappeared just as the next sip was desired. This was comfort transformed into liquid form, a drink that captured the essence of holiday generosity and farmland plenty in every glass. As eggnog spread across America, each region added its own signature touches. Southern plantations favored bourbon and extra nutmeg, while New England households preferred rum from their Caribbean trade connections. Western settlers sometimes substituted local whiskey, or even brandy made from their own fruit orchards. Yet regardless of the variations, the heart of eggnog remained constant, a celebration of abundance, community, and the joy of sharing something special during the holiday season. The popularity of eggnog created a new kind of holiday tradition. Recipes passed down through generations like precious heirlooms. Each family convinced their version was superior to all others. Grandmothers would teach daughters the proper way to fold egg whites, mothers would share the secret of tempering hot cream, and children would watch wide-eyed as the magical transformation from simple ingredients to liquid gold took place in familiar kitchens across America. Today, as we sip our modern eggnog from store shelves or kitchen bowls, we taste centuries of evolution, from medieval posset-warming English bones to colonial abundance creating American tradition. Each glass connects us to countless holiday gatherings, to friends raising toasts across flickering candles, to the simple joy of sharing something rich and wonderful when winter darkness calls for light and warmth and the company of those we hold dear. As our eggnog story draws to a close, we can almost taste that perfect balance, creamy richness coating the tongue, nutmeg dancing on the palate, spirits providing gentle warmth that spreads through the chest. This beloved drink carries within it the essence of hospitality itself, the desire to offer something special to those we welcome into our homes. And as we prepare to explore our final tale, eggnog reminds us that the greatest traditions are born from simple generosity. Chapter 14. Stravagante Natale, Italian Epiphany Celebration. As winter's embrace deepens across the Italian countryside, another magical figure stirs in the folklore of Christmas. While most of the world has packed away their holiday decorations, Italy prepares for one final, enchanting celebration. The Epiphany brings with it a character both mysterious and beloved, a woman whose story intertwines with the very fabric of Italian Christmas tradition, the wonderful Befana. She is not quite like the jolly Santa Claus of other lands, nor does she arrive in a sleigh pulled by reindeer. Befana is something altogether different, a figure carved from ancient Italian imagination. Picture an elderly woman, weathered by time but gentle in spirit, her grey hair flowing beneath a well-worn headscarf. She carries herself with the wisdom of countless winters, and in her eyes burns the kindness of a grandmother who loves all children as her own. The legend whispers of her origins, how she was once an ordinary woman living quietly in her cottage when 3 wise men passed her door. They were following a brilliant star, seeking the newborn Christ child, and they invited her to join their journey. But Befana hesitated. Her house needed cleaning. Her chores were not finished. By the time she changed her mind and gathered gifts for the child, the wise men had disappeared into the starlit night. Filled with regret, Befana set out alone into the darkness, carrying a sack of gifts and riding upon her simple broomstick. She searched village after village, knocking on every door, peering into every window where children slept. Though she never found the Christ child that night, her search continues still. Each year on the eve of Epiphany, she visits homes across Italy, leaving gifts for good children and gentle reminders for those who might do better. Her broomstick has become legendary, not a witch's tool of dark magic, but an instrument of hope carrying gifts through winter skies. Children listen for the soft whisper of straw bristles against rooftops, the gentle thud of her worn boots upon terracotta tiles. Sometimes they swear they hear her humming ancient melodies, old songs that mothers sang to their children generations ago, tunes that seem to carry the very essence of Italian warmth through cold January air. These are the songs of La Beffanata, traditional melodies that echo through Italian neighborhoods during Epiphany season. Children learn them from their grandmothers, passing down verses that speak of Beffanata's kindness, her tireless journey, her love for all children, regardless of whether they have been perfectly behaved. The songs flow like honey through winter nights, sweet and golden, wrapping sleeping villages in musical embrace, each note a promise that magic still exists in this world. As January 5th approaches, anticipation builds in Italian homes like steam from hot cocoa. Children polish their shoes and place them carefully by windows or doorways, hoping Befana will notice their efforts. They write letters, not to the North Pole, but to the kind woman who might pass overhead on her broomstick. Some families leave out wine and local treats, knowing that even magical gift-givers need sustenance during their long night journeys through Italian skies. The evening of January 5th settles over Italy like a soft blanket, carrying with it centuries of tradition and wonder. In homes from Sicily to the Alps, children press their faces to windows, watching for any sign of movement in the star-scattered darkness above. Parents speak in hushed tones about Befana's approach, how she knows which children have been kind to their siblings, which ones have helped with household chores, which ones truly deserve the sweetest surprises. As night deepens, excitement mingles with drowsiness in ways that only childhood can understand. Little ones fight the pull of sleep, determined to catch even the briefest glimpse of the legendary woman. They imagine her flying overhead, her patched skirts billowing in the wind, her sack of gifts swaying gently as she navigates between chimneys and church spires. Every shadow becomes possibility, every sound might herald her arrival. Every creak of the house suggests magical footsteps upon the roof. Children strain their ears, listening for telltale signs of Befana's presence. Was that the sound of her broomstick landing, or merely the wind rattling shutters? Perhaps that soft scraping noise was her climbing down the chimney, or maybe just a branch brushing against the wall. Each unexplained sound sends little hearts racing with excitement, though tired eyelids grow heavier with each passing moment. The boundary between waking anticipation and dreamy hope begins to blur like watercolors in soft rain. Some brave children attempt to stay awake, hiding beneath blankets with one eye peeking toward windows, hoping to witness magic firsthand. They picture Befana's weathered hands placing gifts in waiting shoes. Imagine her gentle smile as she notices the drawings they have left for her, the cookies and milk that show their gratitude. But childhood's natural rhythms prove stronger than determination, and even the most vigilant young eyes begin to flutter closed like flower petals folding at dusk. Dreams begin to weave their way through consciousness, carrying children on nocturnal journeys alongside the legendary gift-giver. In these peaceful visions, they soar through Italian skies on broomsticks of their own, following Befana as she visits house after house, witnessing her joy as she delivers presents to sleeping children. The dreamscape fills with the warm glow of her lantern, the soft rustle of her patched dress, the gentle humming of La Befana melodies that seem to emanate from the stars themselves. Gradually, peacefully, vigilant children surrender to sleep's gentle embrace. Their determination melts away like frost in morning sunlight, replaced by the serene trust that Befana will indeed visit while they dream. Breathing deepens and slows, tiny fists unclench, and worried frowns smooth into expressions of perfect contentment. The night settles around them like a grandmother's lullaby, protective and warm, carrying them safely through the hours until dawn brings its promised surprises. In the quiet hours before sunrise, perhaps Befana truly does make her rounds, her broomstick silent as falling snow, her movements graceful as moonbeams. Whether real or imagined, her presence seems to bless sleeping households across Italy, leaving behind not just gifts, but the intangible magic that comes from believing in kindness, from trusting that love can take flight on winter nights, from knowing that some traditions are too beautiful to question or analyze. Morning light creeps gently through windows, illuminating shoes now filled with treasures, stockings heavy with sweets and small surprises. Children wake to discover that their patient waiting has been rewarded, their faith in magic justified. But perhaps the greatest gift is not found in their shoes or stockings, but in the continuation of a tradition that connects them to countless generations of Italian children, all of whom have felt this same wonder, this same joy, this same connection to something larger than themselves. And so the Christmas season draws to its gentle close in Italy. Not with the abrupt ending of January 1st, but with the warm glow of Epiphany's magic. Befana's visit marks both an ending and a beginning, the final gift of winter's holiday embrace, and the promise that magic remains alive in the world, as children drift back to peaceful sleep, clutching new treasures and sweet memories. The Italian Christmas season settles into quiet contentment, complete and perfectly blessed. Chapter 15. Silent Night, Peaceful Night, A Christmas Farewell. As our winter journey draws to its gentle close, we find ourselves wrapped in the quietude of falling snow. The stories we've shared together dance softly through memory, each ritual a treasured ornament upon the tree of understanding. Tonight we pause in grateful reflection, letting the peaceful silence of this sacred season embrace our weary hearts with tender solace. The lively Christmas markets of Germany seem distant now, their warm lights twinkling like stars in memory's sky. We can almost hear the distant chatter of vendors, smell the cinnamon and roasted almonds carried on winter winds. Those cobblestone pathways where we wandered together, discovering traditions both ancient and new, now rest beneath blankets of pristine snow, each stall a chapter in our shared story. In Japan, the curious tradition of KFC Christmas brings gentle smiles to our remembering hearts. Colonel Sanders transformed into an unexpected holiday figure. How beautifully strange the world reveals itself when we open our minds to different celebrations. The crispy golden chicken shared by families, the reservation calls made months in advance. These moments of joy transcend all cultural boundaries, reminding us that happiness takes countless forms. The radiant decorations we've encountered sparkle softly in our mind's eye, from Iceland's 13 mischievous Yule lads to Mexico's vibrant posadas. Each ornament tells a story, each light holds meaning passed down through generations. The diversity of human celebration fills us with wonder, how creativity and tradition dance together, creating beauty that spans continents and centuries, illuminating the shared humanity that connects us all. We remember the enticing foods that graced our journey. Puerto Rico's pernil, roasting slowly through Christmas Eve, the sweet scent filling homes with anticipation. Poland's 12 dishes waiting on Christmas tables, each one a symbol of abundance and gratitude. These flavors linger on our tongues, memories of sustenance that feeds both body and soul, connecting families across generations through recipes whispered from grandmother to grandchild. The endearing songs we've discovered echo softly through our memories, from Italy's ancient carols to modern melodies that emerged in unexpected places. Each note carries the weight of tradition. Each verse holds the hopes and dreams of countless voices. Music becomes the universal language of celebration, transcending barriers of geography and time, weaving together the human experience into harmonious understanding, a symphony of shared joy. Norway's burning Yule logs cast their final glow in our remembrance, the ancient ritual connecting us to ancestors who sought light in winter's deepest darkness. Those flames danced with stories untold, their warmth extending beyond physical comfort to spiritual solace. The crackling wood whispered secrets of survival, of community, of the eternal human need to gather close when the world grows cold and still. Through misty memories we glimpse the Krampus parades of Austria, where fear and celebration walk hand in hand through snowy streets. These shadow traditions remind us that light exists only because darkness defines it, that joy is sweetest when we acknowledge life's complexities. The bells and chains of those ancient celebrations, the laughter mixed with playful terror, create a richer understanding of human nature's beautiful contradictions. The Philippines' giant lantern festival illuminates our reflection, those massive parols spinning with colors that rival the aurora itself. Each light a prayer, each pattern a dream, made visible against the tropical night sky. How wonderful that celebration adapts to every climate, every culture, transforming universal hopes into unique expressions of beauty, reminding us that wonder blooms wherever human hearts dare to dream. Venezuela's roller skating Christmas masses glide through our peaceful contemplation, the unusual tradition bringing movement and joy to sacred spaces. These moments of unexpected celebration teach us that reverence takes many forms, that devotion can dance just as easily as it can kneel. The gentle whoosh of wheels on church floors, the prayers offered in motion, create new pathways to the divine. Ethiopia's Timkat celebrations splash color across our winter reverie, the ancient Orthodox traditions painting January with vibrant ceremony. Water blessed and shared, communities gathered in joyous unity. These rituals remind us that Christmas echoes differently across the globe, each culture adding its own voice to the eternal song of hope and renewal, creating a chorus that spans continents and centuries of human devotion. The quiet moments between celebrations hold their own sacred power, when families gather simply to be together, when stories are shared without fanfare, when love needs no elaborate decoration to shine. These tender spaces between the grand traditions, the gentle conversations by firelight, the peaceful silences that speak louder than any ceremony, these too are part of our journey's treasure. As we've traveled together through these diverse celebrations, we've discovered that beneath every unusual tradition lies a common thread, the human desire to mark time with meaning, to create moments that transcend the ordinary, to gather in community and remember that we are not alone. Each ritual, no matter how strange, springs from this fundamental need for connection and hope. The snow continues falling outside our imaginary cabin, each flake a small blessing settling softly upon the earth. The world grows quiet now, wrapped in winter's gentle embrace, and we find ourselves grateful for this journey we've shared. The fire crackles lower, casting dancing shadows on the walls, while outside the peaceful night holds all our stories in its infinite silence. Our Yule log burns down to glowing embers, those final flames holding the warmth of all the traditions we've explored together. The light grows softer now, more intimate, creating a cocoon of comfort around our shared memories. Each ember holds a story, each spark carries the essence of human celebration, slowly fading but never truly extinguished, living on in hearts touched by wonder. The cabin lights dim gently, now, our winter journey finding its natural rest. Outside the snow falls in perfect silence, covering the world in pristine peace. We carry with us the gift of understanding, the knowledge that celebration takes countless beautiful forms, and the comfort of knowing that wherever humans gather to mark the sacred, their love and hope will always find a way to shine.